Hi everyone, I'm Rich Noon and welcome to beautiful Dover, Delaware on a sunny day for Kent County Tourism Television. There are many big tourist attractions in Kent County, Delaware that bring in hundreds of thousands of people a year to this region. But we wanted to show you some of the ones that are off the beaten path that you might not know about, but they are very cool places to visit. Kent County Tourism Television starts right now.
Kent County is a wonderful place to visit. Everywhere from Dover Downs, which of course is very exciting, whether it's the casino or the races. We've got the Dickinson Plantation, one of my favorite places in the state, the Old State House. We've got some wonderful events, the Amish bike ride, 2,000 people show up. Thousands of people come from around the state and from around the region to check it out. Personally, I love seeing the state by bike, and I love seeing Kent County by bicycle. Because you're that close, you can feel it, you can smell it.
The governor has been a very big promoter of tourism all over the state of Delaware, but there is no question that Kent County is near and dear to his heart because he's there so often. The Capitol Complex in Dover is a wonderful place to spend a day touring the historic buildings in America's first state.
Delaware has such proud history, and of course Dover is at the center of all of it. Probably my favorite building in the state is the Old State House. Of course, I also am biased toward Woodburn, which is the governor's house. The government complex, Legislative Hall, absolutely beautiful, and it's lined and it's surrounded by so many other just really beautiful buildings. And of course, our archives building is one of the best archives in the entire country for people who really want to understand American history.
We have such great opportunities for people to come and visit this area in the museums and the green where our country really began. If you stop and think about it, a guy by the name of Caesar Rodney jumped on a horse and rode to Philadelphia to help ratify the Constitution from the Green in downtown Dover. And the Golden Fleece Tavern was right on the corner of the Green and State Street, and legend has it that's where he began his journey. But those houses still exist, those buildings still exist, very much like they have in Williamsburg. We just have begun to develop them.
One of the very exciting new tourism initiatives in Kent County is the new sports complex near Frederica.
We're really excited about the new sports complex. Lots of fields, especially soccer fields. We expect to host some great tournaments. You know, families are looking for places to take their kids where they can participate in tournaments. And this is going to bring so many people to Central Delaware who will be staying in our hotels and motels, who will be eating in our restaurants, shopping in our stores. And then they'll be able to see all that we have to offer, and for families that do want to go check out the beach, it's a quick ride. They've got the air base, the Air Museum at the Dover Air Force Base as well. Just so much to see and do. The Dover Air Force Base, a huge employer, huge part of the economy, not just in Dover, not just in Kent County, but really for the entire state of Delaware. And we're really proud of the museum over there too.
The governor is correct. If you're driving down the highway and see the Air Force Base, don't drive past. There's an incredible aviation museum right on base. It's a must-see. Now on Kent County Tourism Television, one of the gems of this part of America is an incredible aviation museum right on the Dover Air Force Base. The Air Mobility Command Museum is one of the coolest places to visit you will find anywhere. It's one of those places where you simply say wow when you walk in. And there is so much to see and do here that no matter what your age, you will simply love a day here. If you're an aviation buff of any kind, the Air Mobility Command Museum in Dover, Delaware is simply one of the top destinations of its kind in the country. But it had very humble beginnings.
We actually began in 1986 in the corner of one hangar over on the other side of the base with a C-47 airplane that had been declared unrestorable. It had been used as a target and had lots of damage to it. It took us 2 years to restore that airplane to pretty well pristine condition. And while we were restoring the airplane, we did a lot of research and found out that the history of that airplane was as good, actually better than any other C-47 that was still in existence. So we actually have an historic gem inside the hangar right now.
There are historical gems all over the 25 acres of this museum. This was America's secret rocket test center for the Army Air Corps in World War II, and it's on the National Historic Registry. This is a special place.
We have a large air park outside with airplanes that not only can you walk around them, but every day at least 2 airplanes are open so people can go inside.
One of the highlights of the museum is the former Air Force II, which carried several presidents and vice presidents. There were lots of VIPs on this plane over the years. It is really neat to walk through, as these high school students did on the day we were shooting. It's neat to imagine what kind of conversations were had on this plane, what kind of history was made. All around Air Force II, there are some of the best examples of American military aircraft in the world, whether it be high-speed jets or this C-54 Skymaster, which was used to take bags of coal into Berlin during the airlift. Inside the hangar, so much to see, including this B-17 Flying Fortress, which was the flying warhorse of the U.S. bombing raids over Europe in World War II. Look at this. This glider is about as rare as you can get. It was used to carry troops and cargo into World War II war zones. Imagine being one of the 13 young men ordered to get into this glider and go to battle, towed behind a big plane, then cut loose to glide into some field in Normandy or Sicily or Burma. About 14,000 of these were made. So many of them crashed on their first flight. Less than a dozen were left in the world. There are only 2 owned by the U.S. Air Force, and one of them is right here in Dover. The Air Mobility Command Museum leadership has been really progressive about making this incredible place fun for all. It's not all about facts.
This is a great place to bring the kids. First, it's family friendly, it's free, it's handicap accessible. We try to teach things that are interesting, and we try to make them interesting to kids. We have free flight simulators. The kids can sit down in one of our free simulators and actually have a pilot teach them how to make a landing. This isn't one like it's in an arcade where you see if you can shoot down 37 fighters. This is one, can you make an approach and land on the runway at Dover Air Force Base and walk away from the airplane? That's the kind of training that we do, and we do it in a fun way.
See, the runway is right here.
The simulator is awesome, and as we walked over, 69-year-old Vietnam veteran Tom Finger was gearing up for a heart-pounding attempt to land a very large cargo plane. Seated beside him, Terry Anderson, who used to fly the big birds for many years all over the world. It is awesome to have a real C-141 pilot and retired C-5 aircraft commander in Dover sitting right beside you. Terry's about as qualified as you can get to run visitors through a simulator.
It's very realistic. If you make a mistake in this simulator, you will crash, just as you would in the real airplane. Pull the nose up just a little bit. Pull back on just a little bit. That's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Okay, 204, 3, come to the right a little bit at the same time. Gears coming down, flaps at 50%. That's enough bank. Don't bank any farther than that.
We'll check in later to see if Tom gets that bird on the ground safely or has a big problem. Well, outside the historic hangar, visitors can go right up into the control tower, one of only 4 control towers in the United States that people can actually go into. If they're lucky enough, they will see a modern-day cargo giant coming in like we did. What a view. In fact, every place you look here, there's an incredible view. Some of the best views inside the planes. You wonder what went through the minds of the young Americans on these old planes as they flew into war zones, often being shot at. On this one, every member of the 108th Air Refueling Group came to autograph her as she was retired here at Dover. There are about 120 volunteers at the museum, many of them seniors, veterans, and all of them have stories about how these planes touch the people who come to see them. Volunteer Ev Sarbeck is a retired pastor who gets just as much as he gives when he volunteers at this special place.
A lot of people come here because it's an experience of history, and that's certainly one of the main things that happens here. You can see it everywhere you walk, and there's a lot of stories connected with some of the airplanes here, so it's fun to talk about that, and people enjoy that.
It was Paul George's 77th birthday the day we were shooting this piece. He was giving some kids their marching orders as they prepared to tour Air Force II.
A lot of the students come in here and they have no idea why a museum is a museum. And so it's up to us to impart whatever knowledge we can give them to tell them the worth of the aircraft that we've got here.
Remember, parents and teachers, kids love this place. Every student in this region should come here for a great field trip, in my humble opinion. But there is no question that this museum and the memories that it triggers is a favorite of people who actually know what the Berlin airlift was. They know who Harry Truman was. They actually had loved ones who flew on one of these planes. People such as Tom Finger. He was a forward observer in Vietnam. That means he used to look out the window of an airplane, which was often being shot at, and wrote down what he saw on the ground to help his fellow soldiers stay alive there. Tom loves the Air Mobility Command Museum.
I've been here a number of times, and I enjoy it. If anybody enjoys aircraft, which I really enjoy aircraft, and you come here, you can have, it's really a great place to come to.
Does it make you proud to be an American, this place?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm proud to be an American. I'd join again now if I were young enough.
The Air Force might actually take Tom after seeing this. He's not a bad pilot for a simulator rookie.
A little firm, but keep it down, keep it down. Spoilers, that'll keep you down. Put the nose down, throttles to idle. Thrust reverser's coming out. Turn very lightly with the wheel to keep you in the center. And we're slowing down, 71, 69. Easy, you're gonna make me sick.
I'm getting sick.
I
Okay. Can't stop that wig wagon.
Yeah.
Howdy do, Terry.
Good landing, excellent landing. Yeah, no, I have a success rate of about 1 in 4 that of people who've never flown before because they can't learn from their mistakes fast enough to land it the first time.
Wow, what a ride. The Air Mobility Command Museum at the Dover Air Force Base. This is a must visit. You will have a blast. It's free, it's fun, it's open just about every day of the year except Mondays and major holidays. For directions, you can go right to the website, but hey, if you can find the Air Force Base, you can find the museum. Go see the Air Mobility Command Museum. It'll make you feel darn good about being an American. You know, when you think of tourism in this region, you certainly can't discount the importance of agriculture. It's a very, very big player, more people related to agriculture employed in Delaware than any other business. And one of the reasons for that is that you can get really good fresh produce almost any time of the year here in Delaware, grown locally. And there's a name, a family name, behind some of the most important agricultural stops in this region. The name is Willie. The kids are in the fields behind Willie Farms, just like their parents and grandparents before them. The Willies are workers. This is 18-year-old Gavin Willie with his hands full of basil, his head full of ideas about the future and the food most of us eat.
I mean, you don't even know what you're eating nowadays. But here, it's all natural, and it's all good for you. And it's definitely the freshest that you can get.
Gavin's younger sister, 16-year-old Hannah, is in the field of flowers behind Willie Farms. It's beautiful for sure, but not easy on a hot, humid July morning. You won't hear complaints, though. This is the Willie way.
Do you like this kind of work?
I do. I get a good tan out here, so I definitely like this work.
Willie Farms on Route 13 in Townsend, Delaware has come full circle. Starting back in the mid-70s when Donald Willie, an airline worker with a wife and 6 kids, chucked his corporate job and opened a little roadside produce stand with local produce, much of which the Willies grew. Willie Farms is now open year-round and does millions in business. It has several satellite locations around the region. But the Willies are working harder and harder to stay true to their roots. They are growing more and more of their own produce. And the Willie natural food selections are the biggest in this part of the country. Willie Farms has been on a bit of a health kick for years. Locally grown, in the family, incredibly fresh food without all the bad stuff that contaminates produce at many grocery stores. The variety at Willie Farms is what makes this place as much a tourist attraction as a great place for local families to buy their groceries all the time. Ask a Willie how many kinds of peaches or peppers or eggplant they sell and prepare for a long answer.
Several varieties of heirloom tomatoes. We grow a lot of herbs. We grow okra, 3 different kinds of okra.
peppers.
Hot cherry peppers. We have Italian sweets, jalapenos, habaneros, cubanelles, green bell peppers, white bell peppers.
We don't just have your regular Black Majesty eggplant. We have a Kermit eggplant, Purple Princess, Fairy Tale. We could go on and on and on. We love green okra. We also carry a purple okra. Not only do we carry green basil, we carry a lemon basil, we carry a red basil.
You get the idea. Eileen's maiden name is Willie. Her daughter Savannah is a college student who works here with lots of her cousins. Eileen's sister Gretchen and her kids work here. And of course, Chris and Sarah Willie, the owners of Willie Farms, their kids were out in the field the day we were shooting this story. Gretchen manages the greenhouse, the garden center, and huge gift area, which booms during the holidays from Halloween through New Year's. This has been a year-round business for decades, and likely will be for many years to come. The current generation of Willies running the business is a long way from retirement, but they wonder about which of the kids will step in.
The different kids have so many different talents. I can't wait to see where they land in here. It's pretty cool.
It really is pretty cool, and the Willie Empire is playing out exactly as Donald and Irene Willie envisioned it all those years ago.
He always said it was going to be a very big business.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt, never a doubt. And the children have made it into an enormous business throughout the state of Delaware. I'm proud of them.
Irene has no doubt that her husband is smiling down on these Willie fields.
He's watching over us, and he's very proud. And whenever we want a message from him, one of his favorite songs comes on over the radio.
What is it? What is his favorite song?
Doo-wop, baby. I want to. I just heard it yesterday.
That was a sign from God, huh?
That's right.
Stop by Willie Farms on Route 13 in Townsend and you will see lots of tags on homegrown beauties picked from Uncle Tom's or Uncle Kenny's farms, or right out back in the fields of dreams, you can see a Willie picking what you might be buying 10 minutes later. And if you listen closely, you might just find yourself bopping along with Don Willie's favorite song. Another sign from above that he is very pleased with the family business, where there are lots of smiles every day. Next on Kent County Tourism Television, now that we know that Kent County is a wonderful place to visit, how about moving here? There is a family business name that you see all over this part of Delaware, and many people who come here to live or set up a business call Enero first. The name Enero is well known in this part of the country because many of the signature buildings have been developed by Enero. Thousands of corporate people have used Enero's corporate relocation or corporate rental divisions to relocate here, and many others live in Enero-operated apartment communities. It all started back in 1964 when the son of an Italian immigrant started a construction business. It has grown ever since. For the last several years, Verino Petenero's son Greg and his top-notch management team have run the company, and Enero is bigger and better than ever, which is saying something considering the economy. Greg Enero learned many great lessons about business from his father, but one of them really helps when things get rough.
Never give up. If anything he does more than anybody else, it's the tenacity to just keep going, to step up and ask the question. It's amazing how many people, nowadays, salesmen are a good example, they're just afraid to ask. Right. And it's amazing how many times you ask and you get it right away. And if you didn't ask, you try to instill that in our kids.
Enero has never been afraid to ask questions. For example, back in the day, getting a state contract was impossible for a small company. But Verino Enero asked many times why his company could not get those jobs. And finally, they did. Enero was building schools and prisons, big jobs. That led to what Enero is today, a family company for sure, but one with decades of experience doing the big jobs.
We're about 4.5 million square feet in the Quad State area, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania. Do a little bit in Florida, but mostly up in this area. Anything within 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive, we like to stay.
Greg was not just handed the keys to this company. He started here back in high school, full-time after college. But his dad made sure Greg knew how to hammer a nail.
Oh yeah, he made me go out hammering nails. He made me go out and fall on my face. He gave me a couple buildings to build and said, here, go build them. Don't ask me. Go figure it out. And it's good lessons because it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. If you try to figure it out yourself, you ask the right questions. You have to ask enough questions. You will slowly learn to figure it out.
The Enero team has figured it out when many others in the real estate business were going under. Enero was growing.
We have retail spaces, we have office spaces, we have corporate rental business, we have residential apartment communities. And when one thing's bad, other things are good.
This Enero project has been very good. There were people moving into the Village at Blue Hen Apartments in Dover the day we were shooting. More than 160 apartments with all kinds of neat floor plans, a great pool, and a wonderful location right near the Air Force Base. There are Enero residential and commercial projects all over this region. The stunning Star Building in Wilmington, the Point at Brandywine Park, renovation to the old courthouse and Rodney Square in Wilmington are all Enero projects. And there are many others, and there are more to come. Greg Enero is pretty bullish about our future.
I'm not worried about the local economy. The local economy in Delaware has always rebounded. It's always done better than the rest of the country.
All of us could learn something about real estate from this pro who has lived through good times and bad.
I guess it's all the same with homeowners and commercial people alike. If you can hold on long enough, if you can afford to stay in that house and you like the house, and you don't have to move, it will come back.
Good advice. If you need a place to live or work in this part of the country, contact the great people at Enero. Chances are very good they will have exactly what you're looking for, be it residential or commercial. And most importantly, they will treat you the right way, just like they have with so many others for so many decades. Kent County's landscape and climate is perfect for golfers, some of whom find plenty of nice days even in the winter to hit the links. And the par 3 in Dover is one of the real hot spots, no matter what time of the year. Now on Kent County Tourism Television, there are lots of great golf courses in this region, and one of them really speaks to me because I'm a lousy golfer. And Dover Par 3 and Driving Range is a place where both great golfers and people like me can have a great day. The Dover Par 3 is just outside the city limits of Dover off of Route 8. And it's an incredible oasis in the golf world. The Dover Par 3 and its sister course in Cape May are really fun places to play golf. They each have 18 holes, full-size greens, driving ranges, and at Dover there's even this awesome batting cage. You gotta love it.
The Par 3 golf course is a place that somebody can come learn to play the game of golf or even get part of the golf, part of their golf fix in and not have to pay an arm and a leg. So it's full-size greens in good condition. The holes are 150 yards or shorter, so everybody can play it. I always like to say that everyone can kick it around here and have a good time, actually. You don't really have to be a golfer to learn to play golf here at the Par 3. And it just is a real functional place to learn to play and be able to play and not spend all day. It only takes a couple hours to play.
Rick says whether you're in Dover or Cape May, you can have a great day of golf for under $20 at his Par 3s. You can even rent clubs, a cart, and a bag for just $2.
They love the cost as much as anything, that they don't have to spend an arm and a leg. Golf has gotten so expensive over the years that it knocks a lot of people out of the game. So what we are able to do is let more people play the game and not take up so much time. There's three reasons people don't play golf: cost, the time factor, and the intimidation factor. It's not intimidating, there's no water or bunkers, so people just can come out here and literally have a great time. They don't leave here beating themselves up about a bad day of golf.
Bob Henry is a great example of that. He loves the Par 3 and has learned to be a pretty darn good golfer. He's now a member of the Par 3, which means he pays an annual fee one time and has a ticket to fun any time of the year.
Well, it gets you to play golf every day of the week, all year round, even in the winter time. And it is really thrilling in the winter when you're cold and you got your jacket on, but at least you get to practice all year round.
Players love that and often play the Par 3s a couple of times a day. Ted Sayers and his buddy Robert, they play here at least once a week, and they also started as beginners. They love the value.
I've never picked up a club until a couple months ago. We pay $14 and you play all day. Really, we get in 4 or 5 rounds a day.
We play 4 or 5 rounds sometimes, 18 holes a round. So it's well worth the money. I love it because you can pay one time, you play all day long.
The vibe among players on the Par 3 courses is great. There are a lot of regulars here. It's a very casual atmosphere. Nobody's pushing or rushing. You see lots of couples simply enjoying a wonderful day on the course.
Everybody from 4 or 5 years old up to 100 years old have been out here. Very diverse. It's a very friendly course. It's a lot of fun. You know, real player friendly. You could be a beginner or even, you know, expert and have a good time out here.
The par 3s in Dover and Cape May have really done well despite years of recession, which have devastated many country clubs and big golf courses around the nation.
I think that the par 3 golf course is a little recession proof because of the pricing. So we've been able to hang in there as far as the business side of it. The people can still figure out a way to have a little bit of recreation for under $20, and that's something that we're able to provide them, as opposed to going and playing real golf for $70 or $80, and they just can't do that these days.
Rick, who grew up helping his father run a golf course in the Rehoboth Beach area, has been very smart about adding attractions, such as this awesome batting cage or driving range. All of these things that bring in business from people who are not necessarily golfers just yet, but probably will be. Rick says the people of both Dover and Cape May have been great to deal with over the many years he's owned these courses.
They are very good people, and once you make them realize what kind of value you're giving them and trying to show them that you're giving them something and they're going to get something in return, they're going to be very loyal to you.
One of the reasons for that loyalty is that Rick spends the time and money to keep the conditions on these courses about as good as you can get, and the golfers notice it.
It's always maintained good. The greens are always nice. The people that work here are nice, friendly. I love it.
And you will too, whether you are in Dover or the Cape May area. Get to the par 3s. The websites are really easy to remember: doverpar3golf.com and capemaypar3.com. The best entertainment values anywhere, lots of fun for your buck at the par 3s. To see all the latest news on tourism in Kent County, Delaware, go to the website, visit dover.com. There you'll find everything you need to plan out a great day trip or a vacation in Kent County, Delaware. Whether it be the annual Dover Days Festival, which is always the first weekend in May, the Amish Country Bike Tour is really cool in September, always the first Saturday after Labor Day. The Delaware Wine and Beer Festival wins rave reviews every year, always the third Sunday in October. And on it goes. There's always something great happening in Kent County, Delaware.
Well, that's it for this edition of Kent County Tourism Television. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I want to urge you to do one thing. Come visit us in Kent County. You will love it. I'm Rich Noonan. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the road.